So today we're going to talk about 5 things that we take here for granted in Sweden that most other countries don't have. For those of you new, my name is Shalika Marka and I talk all things Sweden on my channel. Sometimes I compare it to Sri Lanka from where I'm from and sometimes to the UK where I've lived also there for 10 years. So today the first thing on my list of the top 5 things that we take for granted here in Sweden is clean, running, drinkable tap water. I mean, how many Swedes even think, or even me, I just gotten so used to just putting my glass under the tap and just drinking really ice cold water. And it's so refreshing. It's so clean. And did you know that most other countries have to boil it, have to filter it, or they drink bottled water? In the States, they have all of these special taps brought in to their kitchens to filter the water. It is a process. And we are so lucky here in Sweden that we just have to open the tap and we have such really clean, drinkable water. Now, obviously, you're not supposed to drink the hot water here because the hot water has certain chemicals and minerals. But if you let the water run a little while and the clean, cold water comes in, so nobody ever really boils any water or buys bottled water. You can't really buy distilled bottled water here in Sweden. You can, I suppose, in some places. But for the most part, you only buy fizzy water because the distilled water from the tap is an amazing thing to have. I mean, it's something I take for granted as well after living here for so many years. Number 2, clean air. We in Sweden have such clean air to breathe. We are so lucky. You only have to go to another country, especially in Asia, and just get off the plane and it will hit you immediately, the pollution in that country. Now, when I compare Sri Lanka to places like India and Pakistan that have a lot more people, their pollution levels are much higher. But in Sri Lanka, it does really hit you when you come there. You immediately feel when you start breathing in that the air isn't as clean. And in Sweden, we take it for granted. I am so grateful my children grow up here, especially for children with asthma or people suffering from these sort of conditions. Having clean air to breathe is so much better. Now, having said that, I must say that I find that there are more kids here with asthma than they do in Sri Lanka. So I don't know. I might be wrong. I don't know very much about it. If anybody knows, please leave me a comment in the description box below. But the fact that we have such clean air here is just a huge plus and something that we Swedes and us foreigners living here for a long time take for granted. Number 3 is fast internet anywhere. I've gotten so used to fast internet access and internet speed. It is just crazy when I go to other countries. I get so frustrated. And even here, I mean, as the system is so fast, if it's slow a little bit, even I get really agitated and frustrated because I just take it for granted that everything just happens really, really quickly. And for the most part, it does. We are so lucky. I mean, it does maybe create the sort of lack of patience, especially for me when I do payments and all of these things online, especially if it takes a little longer. I'm tapping my fingers and I get a little irritated and frustrated, and then I have to calm myself down and really remind myself that the internet is really, really fast here in Sweden and that I take it for granted. We do take how easy it is to access the internet and how easily it works and seamlessly it works here in Sweden, because it's not the case in a lot of other countries. Number 4 on my list are school lunches. Now, as a mum living in Sweden, I've only raised my boys here in Sweden, so it is the only system I know. But I've had so many other parents who live in other countries talk about how they have to make school lunches and they have to give the kids breakfast and all of those things. And sometimes you have 3-4 kids. I mean, I don't know how they do it, because in the morning I roll out of bed, I get myself ready, I get my kids ready, and we're just out the door. I don't have to worry about breakfast. I don't have to worry about their lunches, and they get a warm lunch in school for free. I mean, I don't pay for it. I don't have to send them a snack. I don't have to send them absolutely anything. They get a free lunch. The only time I pack a lunch or something like that, and that's if I don't ask the school to organize it, is when the kids go on an outing. And I don't mind doing that at all, but it saves us so much time, and it's something that we take for granted. And other mothers and fathers struggle so much. They have to wake up much earlier. I mean, you see all of these YouTube videos, the mothers posting that they're making lunches, and most often it's a sandwich. Sometimes they will do warm lunches, and a lot of other mothers probably look at that and feel really guilty because it's hard. It's a big job to have to make lunches for everyone who's going to school, especially if you have more than one or two children. And we are so lucky here in Sweden. I am very, very grateful. And sometimes when the kids come home and they say, I didn't want to eat this and I didn't want to eat that, I'm just like, you are just lucky that you're getting a warm meal in school. Pardon my French, just shut up and eat it because it's just, I mean, how can you complain? I mean, the kids are so lucky to be getting these sort of warm food. And I find myself as a parent also really lucky that they are getting these kind of warm foods. Others, I'd also be packing them stuff like crisps and, sort of rubbish food. And here they get an absolutely great meal, a warm meal. It might not be to every kid's taste and like, but I mean, who cares? They need to eat anyway. So when they're hungry, they will eat, and they should eat. They should really eat what is given to them, unless, of course, they have a dietary need or an allergy or something like that. So my kids, they have to eat. If they don't eat, that's up to them. But the school provides the lunches, and I am very, very grateful to Sweden, and all of our tax money goes into giving the kids a warm meal. Now, for those Swedes living here and brought up here and had lunches and all of that in school, you might say that the lunches have gotten worse or whatever it is. I wasn't brought up here, so I have no idea. But the fact that they get a warm lunch in my books is a huge plus. And finally, and this one is a real big one for me, the infrastructure for disabled and older people. It is hands down one of the best countries when it comes to that. I see a wheelchair access and lifts in almost all of the tubes, all of the trains, at all of the cinemas, in the schools. We all have ramps. The infrastructure created around disabled people and older people is just fantastic, and we take it for granted. And there are a lot of older people, some of you watching my channel as well, who are really appreciative of that. So if you've watched this video to the end and you are one of those people, please comment in the description box below. What is it that you find that the infrastructure or anything that we do here that helps make your life easier? I really, really love that about Sweden, that you do have all of this in abundance. I completely forget about it because I'm so used to it not being available. I know countries or cities like New York and in London, it's not always available. It's really, really difficult. And this system here in Sweden helps people with disabilities and older people to get around a lot easier here in Sweden, which is, I mean, you can't put a price on it. It's worth more to them than anything else, that it keeps them as independent as possible for as long as possible. And I love that about Sweden. It is something that we who aren't disabled and who aren't older just yet don't really think about it. We take it for granted. We don't even appreciate those things about Sweden because obviously it hasn't affected us. Yes, but it's something I definitely wanted to add onto my list because I see it everywhere. I see it on buses. Buses have these ramps that come down. I see it in my own school. I see it in, like I said, tube stations, in shopping centers. All of the doors are a lot wider. Everything is a lot wider. It's a lot, even the aisles are a lot more broader. There's room for improvement. Absolutely. There's always room for improvement. But Sweden is very, very good when it comes to taking into consideration those who are older and disabled and making allowances and creating an infrastructure that allows them to be as independent as possible. So these were my 5 things that we take for granted here in Sweden, and I hope you agreed with them. If you disagreed with them, please leave me a comment in the description box below. Is there something I missed? Add that one as well, and if I do collect a few more, I might do another video. But those of you watching, thank you so much for being here. And those of you who've moved to Sweden or are planning to move to Sweden, and that's why you're watching my videos, I hope these videos are helpful to you. And please please let me know in the comments below. Ask me any questions. I will answer as much as I can in the description box below. So thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.